Change audio sources. Switch back and forth. Do this for a little bit. Hardwired. Maybe that's the issue. That's right, there's a fat guy on camera.
Oh, Dad, I forgot to tell you. I should tell you. You know that we don't drive to dance today, right?
Actually, we're driving at 5.
Oh, they switched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Indeed. That was the ask. I hope that doesn't cause an interruption. We're going to test this for a little while. Just going to let it go, switch back and forth from time to time. Oh, lovely, I'm broadcasting arthroscopic pictures of my shoulder. We're going to test this for a little while. Just going to let it go, switch back and forth from time to time. Oh, lovely, I'm broadcasting arthroscopic pictures of my shoulder. We're going to test this for a little while. Just let it go, switch back and forth from time to time. Oh, lovely, I'm broadcasting arthroscopic pictures of my shoulder. We're going to test this for a little while. We're just going to let this thing run for about 10, 12 more minutes. Alexa, WNPR from TuneIn.
Connecticut Public Radio from TuneIn.
Support comes from the Jackson Laboratory, a Connecticut-based nonprofit biomedical research institute where scientists are exploring new frontiers in human health and disease based on a common building block, the human gene. Using cutting-edge approaches, scientists at the Jackson Laboratory are searching for cures for diseases like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and more. Because at Jax, cures are in their DNA. Learn more at jax.org.
Points down more than 1%. Tech-heavy NASDAQ dropped 274 points. This is NPR News.
For Connecticut Public Radio, I'm John Henry Smith. UConn's Muslim Student Association is hosting a virtual art show and contest tonight. As Connecticut Public Radio's Ray Hartman reports, the aim is to raise awareness about the plight of China's Uyghur population.
A recent report from the publication Foreign Policy found that over 1.5 million Uyghurs have been forced into so-called re-education camps. The Chinese government is accused of subjecting the mostly Muslim minority to forced sterilization and other atrocities. UConn junior Khalil Rahman is one of the organizers of tonight's show. He says with so many students studying remotely this semester, the Muslim Student Association had to find a new way to bring attention to the humanitarian crisis facing Uyghurs.
So they had the idea to try to have the students showcase their own creativity and really personalize this crisis, because it's hard to fathom. A million people being put in concentration camps. You can't really imagine that kind of suffering. But to pick one person's struggle or one specific aspect, I think is a lot more powerful and hopefully will resonate with the UConn community and anyone who attends the art show.
Brockman says the 18 works of art in the show come from the UConn community as well as artists from around the world. Tonight's virtual event also features a talk by Uyghur activist and former political prisoner Tahir Emin. The show gets underway at 7 p.m. at Instagram.com/UConnMSA. Ray Hartman, Connecticut Public Radio.
University of Connecticut women's basketball guard Paige Beckers has won Conference Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year honors. Beckers is only the second UConn freshman to win both Big East Conference awards in the same season. Maya Moore was the other.
That's really why I came here, because they push to do the best. So just me seeing that and footsteps in where I could be going, if I continue to get better and continue to be coachable and continue to be better for my teammates and my coaches, I'm really grateful to be in this position.
Beckers is from Minnesota, where, coincidentally, Moore won 4 WNBA titles in 7 years. Weighing in on Beckers' early success, Coach Gino Ariema says she stands out for how well she handles herself on the court.
If Paige had a different mindset, if she had a different temperament, and still had all the skills that she had, it may not work.
The Huskies will look to automatically qualify for an NCAA tournament berth when they tip off in their conference tournament this weekend. The time is 4:35.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from X-Chair, maker of the X2 home office chair, with dynamic variable lumbar support and 10 ergonomic adjustments. Donating to Gladstone Research Institute to fight COVID-19 at xchair.com. From Progressive Insurance with the Name Your Price tool, offering a range of coverage and price options to choose from. Now that's Progressive. More at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And from the Annie E. Casey Foundation.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Mary Louise Kelly. And I'm Ari Shapiro. Some seemingly unrelated events are all tied to a crisis happening in the U.S. right now. The attack on the U.S. Capitol, people unwilling to get the coronavirus vaccine, legislation aimed at fixing a voting fraud problem that doesn't actually exist in American elections. This crisis is disinformation. And joining us now is NPR's Miles Parks, who covers disinformation from PR. Hi, Miles.
Hey, Ari.
Has there actually been more disinformation in the last couple of years?
There has been. I mean, the quantity is way up, but I think what's really interesting, too, is just how much the landscape has kind of changed. You know, the biggest sources of disinformation in the U.S. right now about politics and about public health are domestic sources. It's coming from other Americans online. I talked to Darren Lingo. He's a Clemson University professor who studies Russian disinformation networks, specifically the so-called Internet Research Agency, or the IRA. These are the guys who played a big role in the 2016 election, but not so much in 2020.
I'm not even seeing IRA messaging much in English to the same extent that I've seen in the past. Because they don't need it. I mean, like, the GOP is taking the ball from them and run with it.
You know, typically it's American adversaries who want to spread disinformation about democracy and about elections in the U.S. not being trustworthy, but that narrative is mostly coming from inside the U.S. now.
Explain why. I mean, what's made the disinformation environment so much worse recently?
The biggest reason is the pandemic. You know, it's hard to overstate just how much more time people are spending online. People are more online than ever before. A tracking company I talked to, Activate Consulting, said it was the biggest year-over-year jump in internet and media use they'd ever seen. And what that means in really simple